Ouch, was that a ghost?
Ouch. Was that a ghost?
With Liss
and Lee. Speaking of ghosts, I 100% believe that we have an entity in our home. Wholeheartedly, there is something here.
Why? Spill the beans, all of
There
them.
just is. It just we've heard
Okay, heard. Here we go.
we've heard people, like, we're staying on the first floor right now, because they're renovating upstairs, and we're waking up at like 3 in the morning. I've heard people, or someone, not people, I've heard someone walking around upstairs, and we've already been feeling things here and there, but since we've been downstairs, I feel like I'm really feeling something. And there's like this little laundry room, and in there I feel like, I don't know, like tense. My mom came over and she was like, "This is weird. Like, I don't know, I don't feel right." She came in through the back hallway and she opened the door, and I said, like, "Hi, Yevi," and then he just like looked next to her head and was just like, with his jaw dropped, and didn't say anything. He was literally just like looking at her,
You didn't
looking right
ask
next
him?
to her. I mean, no, because I was like, started laughing, and she's like, "What, Lee? What? What do you know? What do you know?" I was like, "What? I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing." And then he just like ran off being an idiot. Not an idiot, being a 3-year-old. And then, what else happened?
Does it feel negative?
Sometimes I get a little creeped out. Like, every time I take a shower in this house, I, out of nowhere, feel someone come up behind the curtain. And that's the only time it really feels negative. Other than that, like, it feels fine. It just feels like kind of pressure, like weird.
Psycho, the movie. You gotta sage it. Sage your house. The people on Facebook are so funny with their answers.
Oh my gosh, yes. There's this one guy, Michael Lieber. He is a bee, and he sticks to it. Like, he wholeheartedly believes he's a bee. He does
Buzz.
nothing but buzz around our page. It's awesome. I love it. Oh my gosh, the creepiest thing that happened. So, like 2 or 3 days ago, Chris had knocked out on the couch with Gianni. She was exhausted. She knocked right out. I'm sitting at the table, so it's the living room, and then there's a huge, like, archway. Not really an archway, but we're gonna call it an archway. That it literally blocks off the view to the couch, but everything else in the living room I can see. So Asaya was sitting on the couch, and he's sitting there, like, being kind of loud. He's watching his movie while they're sleeping. I'm right at the dining room, right next to the room, doing my homework, and I hear someone go, "Shh." I was like, I'm thinking it's just Carissa. And then Asaya's like, "No, but what are you watching? But you wanna watch this? You wanna watch this with me?" And I couldn't make out what they were saying, but it was a woman's voice talking back to him, and I'm like, that's not Carissa. What the hell?
You just forgot about this?
No, I know. And I'm sitting there like, that's not Chris's voice. I'm trying to listen to what they're saying, and I'm like 10 feet away from him. But for some reason, I just couldn't make out what she was saying. And I hear her go, "Shh, shh," again, because he starts getting loud. He's like, "No, but what are you watching? What?" And she goes, "Shh." I'm like, what the So
Why don't
after
you
I
ask
heard her,
him?
I try to. He doesn't, he just lies out his teeth. He's so not reliable. So then I get up and I'm like, "Saya, who are you talking to?" Chris is sitting there with her mouth open, drooling. Like, this girl was knocked out. Like, was not awake. I'm like, "Saya, who were you just talking to?" He goes, "Nothing." I go, "No, who were you just talking to, Mama?" He goes, "Nothing." I was like, "No, who are you talking to, Saya? Who was just talking to you?" He goes, "Nah, I don't want to watch this no more," and runs away. Like,
No, that's a good
thank
point.
you. But, like, I don't know, whatever it is, I don't know, like, maybe it's like a family member or something, because, or just like a helpful ghost like Joey had, because
Really?
yeah, so it's clearly a she. She's played with the family. I mean, she's played with the baby. Remember I told you he was like reaching up, trying to grab at something, and like laughing, cracking up. Um, Asaya sits there talking to someone in the middle of the night in his room, and Chris and Alan think that he's just like playing around, but I've literally gone up to his room, and then all of a sudden he gets quiet and he's like, "Okay, okay." Like, he's answering someone. Like,
Oh,
he's
that's
talking normal, but they
creepy.
have the white noise on, so you can't hear it through the monitor what he's saying. All you hear is the white noise. But, like, if I'm in the living room, his room is right there. I can hear him talking to someone. It's so creepy. Did I
I don't
scare
even
you?
know. No, I'm just like thinking. I'm like, that's so.
Yeah, and I don't know if I told you this one. I forget the last time we recorded, but
I haven't
Brandon said
recorded in
that, like,
forever.
I know. Brandon said that like a few weeks ago. We were laying there in the middle of the night and he was awake, just like sitting on his phone. And he said that something started pulling the sheets off. He had the sheets up to his shoulders. He said, literally, it pulled it off to my waist, and I just pulled it right back up. And I was like, okay, just pretend that didn't happen. I was like, I mean, that's what he said. Like, he was just pretending it wasn't happening. I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, you guys have friends.
Yeah, we do.
Hopefully friends.
We do. Hopefully what?
Hopefully friends.
Hopefully. Ojalá. So everyone knows that back in the day, anyone who had the slightest imperfection was literally just sent away. I know I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but children, adults with the slightest disability were just locked away in hellholes. They were faced with unlivable conditions, severe emotional and physical abuse, and of course, they had no voice. Today, we will be talking about an asylum just for children. Well, it was meant just for children. So the Pennhurst State School and Hospital was also known as the Shame of Pennsylvania.
Was this that huge one that was like alphabetized, like all the buildings?
I don't think it was alphabetized.
It was like A and B and this one. Oh no, I could be thinking of something else.
I don't think so. I don't think this one was the alphabetized one. I didn't see that anywhere. Who lives on a pineapple under Penn State School and Hospital? No, not funny. So the Asylum for Mentally Disabled Children opened in 1908 in Pennsylvania. The state-funded school was over 1,400 acres, consisted of 30 buildings, and had its own power plant, farm, hospital, morgue, barbershop, and firehouse, and among a few other.
Firehouse?
And firehouse. It was like its own little town away from the town. They didn't want to, they wanted to keep everything very discreet. They didn't want to bother the town folk with anything going on within the walls of this place. So it was far from the townspeople and hidden behind a forest with its own railway station. Patients had all sorts of jobs, from laundry to shoemaking to painting to working at a shop. So it wasn't all bad. They didn't just make them sit in their rooms or deal with abuse. They also got breaks by working for them.
I'm picturing Happy Gilmore. Do you remember that movie?
Happy Gilmore. Tell me why I put it on, watched 5 minutes of it, and then shut it off. But like, I watched it before.
Some mother to make crafts and.
I don't remember.
Forget it. Never mind.
Whatever. Oh no, that was Billy Madison I was about to watch. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Happy Gilmore.
Well, you need to get on that because that's unacceptable.
Oh my gosh. I'll watch it tomorrow. I'll let you know. I'll let you know what I think. I can't believe, wow, all these people, I just put two and two together, have always referenced Happy Gilmore. There's always been jokes and everything. And I'm like, haha, I never understood, because I'm like, I don't remember that happening in Billy Madison. And it's a whole different movie. Okay. I'm an idiot.
To your home. Are you too good for your home? You'll get it when you watch it.
No, I say it.
Okay.
All right, so the children shared the hospital with orphans, immigrants of all ages, and criminals. So it was no longer just a child-only facility. Yes.
Why would you put children? Okay, go ahead.
Yep. So the asylum was initially built to house 500 patients, but about 4 years in, there was over 2,800 patients. So obviously they were very, very understaffed. Each patient was given a classification. Either they were labeled an imbecile or insane. They were labeled epileptic, or healthy.
Those are the two options. Oh my gosh. What is wrong with people?
And then dental-wise, they were rated poor, good, or treated. The hospital started with care and compassion, as most places do, but once it became understaffed, everything changed. Staff would tie patients to their beds and leave them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, tied and covered in
little
feces.
Kids doing this too.
Oh my God, I know. It broke my heart. Literally broke my heart. And just like the criminals, no offense, but screw. Well, I don't know, because even back then, it's like,
yeah. Well, you don't know what the crime was. Did they steal a cow, or did they kill 10 people? You know?
Are they locked up because they're the ones who discovered milking a cow, and everyone was kind of like, why did you do that? I don't know. That's a joke on our Facebook page. Follow us.
Or maybe a woman
Anyway,
who doesn't smile, so the husband's like, "Oh, she's a witch. Put her in there."
literally, it's it sucks because stories from back in the day leave you with so many questions, and it kind of just leaves you to like speculate so much, and it just breaks your heart because I'm pretty sure it was pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the staff would tie patients to their beds and leave them tied up and covered in feces for hours to days, just forgetting about them. It was a very common practice to have your teeth removed if you bit a staff member or another patient.
Oh
Teeth would
my
be found.
gosh.
Yeah, and that's so sad too. Because think about, I used to in middle school. I had this disabled child. They literally had him on a leash because he would run and bite people. But it's like he has no idea what he's doing. He's not trying to be bad or be mean. So you're just gonna rip their teeth out. But um, it said that like when visitors would come to visit their children, visit whomever, teeth would be found in the tunnels by visitors.
That is disgusting and
Mm-hmm.
sad.
Yeah. If any patient misbehaved, mentally disabled or not, they would be placed in isolation so long that some of them would even harm themselves just to get attention.
And again, this is children too.
Children, yep. Everyone
That
was
you're not
treated the same.
putting in the corner for 5 minutes. They're locking them away for days at
Yep,
a time.
yep. A mentally disabled person, if they push somebody, you're going to isolation. 5-year-old child, just nope, stick them in solitary for 2 weeks.
Right.
There was a doctor whose name was Dr. Jesse Fair who would treat patients through different forms of punishment and enjoyed injecting them with harmless but very painful injections. I tried to look up more on him because I wanted to see like if he did like just experiments just to be a fucking creep, but no, he got fulfillment out of going up to patients and painfully and injecting them with this just to see them in pain. That's pretty much what I gathered from what I read.
That's terrible.
But I didn't find anything on like him doing anything else. Like I was watching American Horror Story and the Asylum one. I was rewatching season 2 of The Asylum with the Nazi doctor. And
What's the name of the Nazi doctor, the loser?
No, his Nazi name was Hans, but then he changed it when he became a doctor. I forget what it was.
I'm saying the one in real life.
Oh, the Nazi doctor, the one that experimented on twins.
Mangle? Is it Mangle?
I think it's Mangle. I think it is.
Okay, he was disgusting. That's
Oh
off
my
topic. Go ahead.
gosh. I know, right? We should do a story on him. He's considered paranormal. He's a fucking freak. So Dr. Jesse Mangle's suspension is actually what led to an investigation of the asylum that attracted camera crews, the news, everyone. So in 1968, a TV series on the asylum finally exposed the mistreatment of the hospital's patients and
In
got
what year?
people to speak up for their loved ones. So that's, what was that, like 20 years later? 20 years later, the asylum finally closed their doors. But can you believe that?
It took 20
So
years
20 years later, yes. And they
after
had
the
visitors.
exposing.
Yes, and the thing is, parents would come and visit their children.
I feel so bad for those parents because, well, not all of them, but I'm sure some of
Yeah.
them thought that they were doing the best that they could for their children. And they're putting them in these like terrible situations where I'm sure a lot of the kids were probably being bullied. And by retaliating and defending themselves, they're now getting put in isolation for a week.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is, the thing that gets me is that they had visitors regularly. So people would go and visit, they'd see, but it also it doesn't say if they like had a visitor building. I guess they probably did, but like you can see your child, you can see if they're being mistreated, you can hear what they're saying. You can tell if your child is being mentally abused, or there's no way there's not signs of their wrists being split open from being tied down to the bed for so long. Like it's, that's not okay. And it even said like it took 20 years for loved ones to finally speak up.
So they
all
knew?
these people, they knew.
So
They had to have known.
could they not have signed them out? They weren't being
I
held.
don't
They were
know.
put there voluntarily or what?
I don't no, that yeah, they were put there voluntarily. People just, but you know how it was back in the day. People like cared so much more about what people thought rather than loving their
Yeah.
child.
Yep. It's like status was all that mattered.
Yeah, literally. So they would just lock them away and just continue to hope that things are going to get better. But I guess at a point, like once they realized, oh shit, all this stuff is coming out, they had to be like, oh no, I do care about my kid. That's how I see it. I don't give a damn. Like, I know it was all about status back in the day, but a mother's love, like, for your child, there's no way that's changed. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
different back in the day than to what it is now. I don't know. I can go on and on.
No,
It
I feel
pisses me
like
off.
it was set up like a good organization, like it had good intentions, but
Yes.
then it just suffered all these, like, problems, like
Yes.
staff
Yep.
shortage,
Yeah.
and then when you have really staff shortage, all these sadist people get to go in there and work and just, like,
Right.
be cruel, and they get paid
Mhm.
for it and probably love it. So now the
Yeah.
residents are all, like, paying the price.
Yeah. But, so I'm sure there were many deaths within the walls, but no one knows for sure how many died. I couldn't even really find an estimate, because a lot of documents were misplaced,
Oh my
quote.
gosh, of course.
The buildings are haunted now. So let's dive into the paranormal spirits, the spirit section. So much of
Spirits.
today's hauntings take place in the Mayflower building. This building consists of 3 floors and a basement. Like any other abandoned building, plenty of people have broken in and destroyed the place, because who has respect for the dead? No one. What's different in this building is that the walls are covered in satanic symbols. So clearly, people were performing satanic rituals, which, I mean, you open a door and who knows what gets released. And I highly doubt they know how to close it correctly if
So
you're going.
they screwed with all these people during their
Yep.
lifetime, and now they're sitting
Mhm.
there and they're gonna screw with their spirits too.
Yes, screw with their spirits and invite some
Okay,
more evil in, why don't you?
okay.
Um, so people have heard footsteps, door slams, voices saying, "I'll kill you. Go
Ah,
away. I'm scared."
bye.
Yeah, etc. So that's so sad because the "I'm scared" is definitely a child. Like, it didn't specify, but I'm
Oh,
just assuming it's probably a child. It's so sad. They have also heard a sound of a music box playing, but when you go searching for it, you can never find it. There is a spirit called the King. It's a shadowy figure of a maintenance man that has been known to touch and choke people. His spirit resides in the boiler room, and visitors antagonize him by leaving cigarette butts on the floor.
I'm sorry, that's not funny.
Yes. Yes. Well, it is a little bit like,
Leave a butt
because
on the floor, get
he was a
choked out.
smoker and he used to smoke in the boiler room. So if you drop a cigarette, he'll smoke the rest of it and then he'll choke you out.
Okay. Different
Um,
game, but alright. To each their own.
Crazy girl. He's crazy. And he really doesn't like female visitors. So some say that he might be a poltergeist or a demonic entity who just has a habit for Newports. But some also say that a female spirit is with him trying to warn people to run.
Can I tell you one thing?
Yes.
Okay, so I just looked it up because I was curious if this was the same one that has the alphabetized buildings, and it is.
Hmm. It
And
is.
the reason I remember that is because a long time ago, I read an article on this, and they had infants as young as 6 months old that were being treated here.
That literally makes me want to cry.
Yes, this is
How did you find this stuff? I was on like 3 different sites and I did not see anything about infants.
here, I'll send it to you right now. But that
Oh my god,
I
that
was just
hurts my
seeing if that
heart.
was, but that's why it stuck with my head because I was like, I wonder if it's that place that had like the little tiny, tiny babies there.
Oh my god.
It says, think of a ward of infant and children from the ages 6 months to 5 years old. There are 80 of them in metal cages. They were literally lying in their own feces for days.
The things that people did back in the day are unforgivable. I don't care how different things were back in the day.
Hopefully they forget about it when they got out of there. I hope they didn't stay the
Yeah.
full 20 years though,
Can't we just all get along and love each other? I just
right?
want to live in like a
And
hippie town where we all just love one another.
yes.
Rock on, bruh. So there was also the Quaker building. Now, the Quaker building consisted of a demon. It was a definite demon and shadowy figures. There was a female child with long black hair and long dangling arms that would push, scratch, and throw things at people. Um,
She's not taking it anymore. Good for her.
Good for
Leave her
her,
alone.
honestly.
You
Literally.
don't you don't want to get beat up, leave.
Literally. Just stop disturbing their resting places. And it's so hard because I want to go and I want to visit these places, but at the same time, it's like, I just let them be.
If
Um,
we were visiting, we wouldn't be like
disrespectful. We would
dropping
just,
cigarette butts to get choked out. We'd be,
yeah,
like anyone that wants to communicate. And if they're like, get out, I'll be like, bye.
yeah,
When someone tells me to get out, I listen. I'm like, peace out.
literally.
Like a
The Limerick building, there was an apparition of a woman in an old style nurse's uniform that's known to roam the halls and walk around. And that's all I really found on that building. And so to this day, I mean, so today, so one of these days,
so
um,
yesteryear.
so nowadays, what do I say? So fast forward to this year, to the future now.
Are you okay? So Back to the Future.
Why can't I figure out
I
how to
feel
bring this
like
in?
you need to be rebooted.
I need a reboot. Someone put me to bed. All right. So most of the buildings today are abandoned, and most of them are off limits, but others have become a haunted attraction for tourists and paranormal investigators. So some of them are open to the public. I honestly think that Pennsylvania is really not too far. We could do a whole day trip and go.
Yep. And we can stop by Hershey's, eat some chocolate.
I've never been there, but I've heard about it.
But that was a good story.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening.
If you have a story you'd like us to share, email us at ouchwasthataghost@yahoo.com.
Don't forget to follow our Facebook page, Ouch, Was That a Ghost?